How can you spot strengths in yourself and others? My name is Gill Howe, and I'm going to give you some stories and some hints and tips to get your thinking going. My first story is about a colleague who, as a child, used to line the children up in the street where she lived and teach them to tell the time. No one asked her to do that. She's now a learning and development professional. Childhood memories can give you a clue on what energizes you. My second example is an engineering manager in Transport for London. He was always full of ideas, improving things, making suggestions to his team. They say, stop, it's too much, it's too many. As a child, he was always hands-on, practical, inventing things in his parents' garden. This is where his energy was. This was the true him. My father was a rapid learner with languages, including 2 years in Egypt in the war, learning Arabic. Whenever we went on holiday with him, he always used to find someone to talk to in a new language, get himself understood, build relationships. These were things he did with ease and where he was a rapid learner. Those are also where our strengths, the things we're good at, and energizers can be. Finally, I want to tell you about my colleague Fraser, who was promoted to being a sales manager. Not because he was good at sales, he was, but because he could look at a whole array of numbers and work out where the problem was. And that ability to go from the big picture to the detail in pre-pandemic days, he gave that strength of his the name of Zoom. So those are some ways that you can get to think about and see what energizes you as a way of surfacing your strengths. You can also spot them in others from the language they use and the way they talk. When they're excited, when they're enthusiastic, when they say, I love to do this, I always do this, I can't resist doing that, or somebody talks about them in that way, there's a strength in there. And actually, the more specific you can get about finding out what that is, the easier it gets. When it comes to our strengths, we're so engaged in using them automatically. They don't have to get on a to-do list. In fact, a to-do list, I would say, is a I don't really want to do list. And an example from my own work is that a de-energizer for me is things to do with process and adherence and detail. And so I work very closely with my accountant who loves those things, does an amazing job for me in half the time, probably less than half the time. And I use my strengths in relationship building and communication to get the best out of that working relationship. And this is how strengths can work in a team. To draw all this together, I have 3 top tips for you. The first is follow the energy. You get good at it, noticing when somebody's talking about what they do automatically, when they're energized, and think, aha, there's a strength in there, and ask some questions, find out more. The second top tip is take the time to feel inside, because when you are using your strengths, you are energized. It's a different feel. You feel satisfied afterwards. You look forward to doing the tasks that use your strengths. You can use all of that as a guide to using your strengths more every day. The third tip is listen to the stories. As well as at my best stories, you can ask people about when they felt most alive, most engaged, most proud, and there will be strengths in there. And again, the more specific you can make it, the more unique and personal it is to the individual, and the more you can ask your team, challenge yourself to use and stretch your strengths every day. Thank you.